The night vision 940 CQB-R device that I make, it starts out life as a normal OPMOD from Optics Planet for $100. And I've owned them for years, but they had like a 5x magnified lens. It says 1x, but it's such a small field of view, it really turns out to be like from an iPhone, like this one. It's equivalent to about 3 to 5x, depending on what model of iPhone you have. But irrespective of that, the magnification of the original OPMOD, or the field of view, which is 19 degrees, to me was impossible to walk around with or use for navigation or home defense. It was great for looking at, a deer about 80 feet away, but it wasn't good for defense use. It wasn't good for something I would want to carry with me at all times. So eventually I got just sick of it. So what I did is I converted a normal OPMOD, I took it apart and I changed out the lens. So instead of having a 20 degree field of view, now it has an 84 degree field of view. That's a lot. You're looking at 20 times more ground with my lens than the original lens. To put that in perspective, a PVS 14 has 40 degrees field of view, and you can see 9 square feet of ground when you look down. Mine has 84 degrees, and when you look down, you can see 20 square feet of ground. So it's 20 times more than the factory lens, and it's over twice as much as a PVS 14. Now, when you're working for close range CQB stuff, that's what you want. You want wide field of view. You can ask the Navy SEALs. They have a quad goggle you may have seen on television. Very expensive, $40,000, $50,000, law enforcement only at this time. But that is like 95 degrees, and this is 84. So that should give you an idea. The Navy SEALs are running 95 degrees, or excuse me, 95, 100 degrees, we're not even sure. I have conflicting numbers on that. But this is 84, does a really good job. The other disadvantage of a factory model is the infrared that it ships with is 850 nanometer, and it glows very brightly. I call it the HAL 9000. You can't see it when it's pointed away from you, but when the target's looking at it, it can see that from about 300 feet away. I convert the lens, and I convert this from 850 nanometer, which is the factory one, to 940, which is a military style infrared. It's a higher frequency, and it's much more difficult to see. This goes from 300 feet being able to detect to 3 feet. I'm not even sure the iPhone can detect it a little bit, but the human eye can see this from about 3 to 6 feet, depending on the human. And when I have a blue filter that I put on this that goes from 99% invisible, goes from 300 feet to 3 feet. And when I put the blue filter on there, which is removable, it goes to 0, to 100% invisible. So with the blue filter on and inside, the infrared ricochets off all the walls. So it still has a 20-foot range indoors. Outdoors, you can take the blue filter off, and you have about a 20-foot range outdoors with this infrared. And again, a 3-foot, you can detect the red filter from about 3 to 6 feet away. And the blue filter, you can't detect at all, totally invisible. And to increase its range, you can actually go to, an infrared flashlight. I think on Amazon, they have like a $25, $26, 850 nanometer flashlight. And that will get this out to easily 100 feet of usable distance. You do have the red glow, but you increase the range if you need it to easily 100 feet. The same goes for the TLR series of lights from Streamlight. They have a TLR1 IR. And various other infrared lights. But the TLR1 IR will get you a good 100 feet of usable distance out of this, even though the target may see it from 300 feet. I do have a conversion where I convert the TLR1 from 850 nanometer, which is what it is, to 940, which is what this is. And that gives you about 50 usable feet from this, and the target can only see that 950 from the TLR IR 940 from about 50 feet. So what you see is what you get on the 940 TLR. So, but that's it. That's, they sell these for about 95 bucks factory, maybe 100. And after I get through converting them, they're at least double that price, but they're more than worth it. This is the only thing you can put in your pocket that's good for short range work. Everything else from China is long range and 850 nanometer, which, you take your pick, for You know, $200 or $300, you can find anything to see 100 yards or 200 yards all day long. But what you can't find is something you can put in your pocket and use for close quarter battle, close range, and navigation, indoors or outdoors, in total stealth. And that's what I've made here. So I've really enjoyed my little 940 CQB-R, which is what I call this. It's the standard name is OPMOD NV-300, but after I get done modifying it, I've renamed it to the 940 CQB-R, which is available on eBay.